I'm here from Royal Mail and I'm here to talk about our graduate scheme today. I'm Sarah McGinley, an early careers manager. So I work in the central Royal Mail team that looks after everything from apprenticeships to graduate schemes, internships and work experience placements as well. I have popped a QR code on the screen and it will come up again at the end. That takes you straight to our early careers website. But I am just going to pop the link now into the chat so that you've got that too. Again, that's where we post all of our vacancies for the graduate scheme and apprenticeships, internships, etc. And there's an email at the bottom there as well, which is earlycareers@royalmail.com. That's if you need to get in touch with us or have any questions that we don't answer today that you want picked up later as well. Again, I'll pop that in the chat and we'll bring that up at the end too. But let's get into it. So I know some of you were just commenting, and unfortunately, because I've logged out and logged back in, I can't see them. But if you could just quickly type in what you're currently studying at university or have studied in the past, and maybe any areas of interest to you, whether that be maybe HR, technology, operations management, what are you looking for as a role after you graduate? If you could just pop some in the chat, that would be great. A minute to come through. Perfect. So we had some previous answers: business management, engineering, MBA, accounting, finance, business analytics, engineering management, MSc computer science, University of West of Scotland, finance accounting, HR accounting. Great. There's a good mismatch then over there. Engineering, fabulous, wonderful. Interested in any business role, great. MBA in business creativity, business admin and law, fabulous. Okay, so hopefully we're going to have some opportunities that you might all be interested in today then. So if I move the slide along, I'm just going to provide you with a bit of an overview really of Royal Mail Group. So we comprise of two main companies. So we have our UK Parcels International and Letters business. So that's made up of Royal Mail, who handle all of your letters and the majority of sort of smaller parcels, medium-sized parcels. And then we have Parcelforce, which is more of the international side of the business. Some of you might have used Parcelforce when you were moving into uni if you had to ship stuff. And then we have General Logistics Systems, which is GLS, which is the international side of the business operating in countries outside of the UK as well. So we are a leading delivery company. On there it says, last year we handled and delivered around 1.7 billion parcels. So we have a massive network right across the business. We have over 90,000 posties that we call our feet on the street. And obviously we operate right down to the south of the UK, to the top of rural Scotland as well. We are a proud, wide and diverse workforce. So obviously we like to make sure that we're representing the communities we serve. We employ around 158,000 people across the group as a whole, around 130,000 people across the UK. So that does make us one of the largest employers across the United Kingdom as well. Our values really matter to us. So as an organisation, we always say that we want to be positive, be part of it and be brilliant. And they are our internal company values. We've been named the Times Top 50 Employers for Women in 2014 to 2021. We are also a responsible employer with 97% of our colleagues on permanent contracts. And we also are a disability confident employer as well. We have that status as part of all of our recruitment strategies. And we're really, really proud to have that status as well. We are a green carrier as well. So not everybody knows about sort of our green agenda, although it is a huge part of the business. So this is a little bit about some of our customers saying that they would likely shop with an online retailer that has made a commitment to sustainability than one that hasn't. And we want to make sure that that's really, really important and seen as part of our business. We have got some specific goals. Oh, sorry, it's jumped back there. That work towards being a great place to start your career and a greener place as well. So obviously 3/4 of our parcel deliveries are made on foot rather than just delivered through vans, or we do something called a park and loop method. So that is where 2 of our posties will go into one van, they'll park, and then they'll do a loop right round as well. Again, just making it more environmentally friendly when we're delivering parcels and letters. We've also got an expanded our electrical vehicles as well. So we have all of our own fleet right across the UK, and we're planning to grow our electric vans even more by April 2023. We've moved to 100% renewable electricity across all of our buildings as well. So all of our little delivery offices, our larger mail centres, and our office buildings too. We already have the lowest carbon footprint per parcel of any major UK delivery company, and we keep planning to reduce those emissions even further, which also includes our target of net zero by 2040 as well. Our opportunities are national. So as I said before, we work in most towns, we deliver to every address. We work right up in Scotland and right down to the south of England as well. So on to a little bit more about our graduate programme. So our opportunities in the past have included operations, commercial, finance, HR, and international or parcel force as well. And then this slide just covers a little bit more about what that looks like. So I'll caveat and say we are currently looking to redevelop our graduate programme for 2023. So we're looking at the learning and development side of things, the rotations, and how we can improve that and make it the best programme it's ever been. So I have kept this light touch just for this session. But generally our programmes last 18 to 24 months. So when you apply for a Royal Mail programme, you'll apply for a specific area of the business, maybe one of the ones I've just gone through, and it will generally last around 18 to 24 months with rotations across different teams in between. The idea is that will give you a breadth of experience working with colleagues right across the business at all levels, implementing different projects and being able to support some of our innovation and transformation projects. It'll give you the opportunity to understand and learn about the industry as well as the business. And we'll also provide a mentor and a coach to support you and maximise your time with us as well. There's a little bit about salary information on there. Obviously, that will rise across successful completion of the programme and if you go into a substantive role afterwards. But you also get access to employee discounts, some of our networks and other benefits. We do run an internal youth board that a lot of our graduates currently join, but we have women's network, we have the diversity network, that there's lots to get involved with. You also might do an apprenticeship whilst you're with us or a professional qualification. Currently, we've got some of our graduates on the Level 7 Future Leaders Apprenticeship. Our HR grads will work towards the Level 5 CIPD, and you'll hear from 2 of our graduates later who are doing a Level 5 Improvement Specialist Apprenticeship as well. So alongside really getting your development by working with us, and working in a graduate role as part of different teams, we also want to make sure that you're continuing that CPD and have the ability to gain some more formal development while you're with us as well. And then we have our entry requirements are a minimum of a 2-2, but all degrees are welcome. So we don't stipulate that if you're going into HR, you need to have done HR. That's more about your potential and motivation and what area you want to work in as well. I've just seen a question pop up, sorry. Are there opportunities for graduates to work in AI? Read your plan to use drones in the future. We absolutely are. At present, we don't necessarily bring our graduates into technology or such forums. However, it might be an opportunity in the future. So I would say, again, keep an eye out on our Early Careers website or email in and we'll add you to one of our mail lists as well. So I'm going to hand over to two of our current graduates now, just to take you through a little bit about their experience. It is going to be a little bit like a QA. I'm going to ask them questions and guide them a little bit to talk you through sort of why they applied to Royal Mail, what they're doing in their roles, and give you a little bit of a flavour. So Liam and Kat are our Parcelforce graduates, so part of the Royal Mail Group graduate scheme, working in operational efficiency and international. So Liam and Kat, if I can just ask you to introduce yourselves and sort of give a little bit of a flavour of the team you're currently working with. So what does international and what does operational efficiency mean? Kat, if I pass to you.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Kat. I'm part of the Parcelforce graduate scheme. I joined in 2021. I am qualified, and my university degree was actually in motorsport management and logistics, so quite a different aspect that I'm currently working in. And as Sarah said, I work in the international part of Parcelforce. So this is looking at importing and exporting parcels, how we do that efficiently, effectively, and most importantly, compliantly.
Thanks very much, Kat. Liam, and if I can pass to you just to introduce yourself.
Yeah, morning everyone. Hope you're okay. My name's Liam and joined Parcelforce same time as Kat did last year, just been here just over 12 months. But I'm working in the operational efficiency team. So that looks like improvement projects, trying to cut out waste, trying to make things more user-friendly for the end users, which are our posties and drivers. My degree was in Spanish and business. So again, same as Kat, a little bit different what I'm doing at the minute. Some things cross over. But yeah, that's a little intro.
Thanks both. So again, you both got quite different degrees from what you came and what you're doing now in Royal Mail. So what made you decide to apply for the Royal Mail graduate programme? What appealed to you both?
Happy to take this one. So I think the main thing with me is because my background's so different, I didn't want to close the book on that certain department or area. Obviously, motorsport's completely different to Royal Mail, which is delivering parcels. But when applying, I found out that you've got to open your eyes when applying for graduate schemes. Don't just narrow it down to what you are studying, make it more of an interest. So my interest is mainly logistics. And also I did some international studies as well within my course. So I found that really interesting. So I'd probably say that's the main thing that drew me to Parcelforce, Royal Mail as well, was that they offered a range of aspects that you could go into and take advantage of whilst on the graduate scheme.
Great, thanks, Kat. And what was it that appealed to you, Liam?
Same as Kat, really. I applied for quite a lot of graduate programs. As you'll know, when you come to apply, it's so competitive that you could have a plan to apply for a company, you're prepared for it, and you mightn't even hear back from your initial application. So it was a case of casting a wide net within a scope of what you wanted to do, and then seeing how far you got in each of them. When it narrowed down to companies who'd progressed me to the next level, Royal Mail, a few things that applied was the size of the company, the history, the promise that we could take an apprenticeship that was paid for. So a promise to continuing to develop you. And as well, I know as a graduate, I didn't properly think about this. It's almost like a dirty word, but the wage was higher than other graduate schemes that I'd applied for. And if you've invested in yourself by going to uni, you want to be recompensed for that. So I'd say have a think about how much you want to get paid for the graduate position as well.
Great, thank you very much, Liam. And so thinking back to the application process, although it was a while ago, can you give sort of the guys an idea of what that was like, what it entailed, how long did it take, that sort of thing? Kat, if I come back to you.
Yes, so it was a while ago, so I will have to try and remember. But the initial starting point for the application was an online test, which you had to take. This was done from home on the computer. And then once you passed that, and if you passed that, you were then invited to an assessment centre. So initially, I was very nervous about that. I've never done an assessment centre before. I'd never been prepared for one, so it is really nerve-wracking. But my main bit of advice for an assessment centre is try and push those nerves to a side and just be yourself. Approach situations how you would approach them through your degree. Use what you've learned in your degree and just get through it, and you can do it. Just don't knock yourself down. And just going back to a further point, applying for so many different graduate roles, don't think that that's a bad situation. Apply for as many as you can, because you don't know what you're going to be accepted to, and that will open doors for you. Then going back to the application process, is the assessment centre. It was really friendly. The environment was really nice. The applicants, and you went through, I think it was 4 tests. So you had a group test where you had to all study your situation and then go into a conference and discuss why your area of the business needed focus. The second one was just your normal one-to-one interview. So you'd have an interviewer asking questions just about your degree and certain situations that you'd have to go into and how you'd respond to them. Another one was you'd have to convince the board to put some more time and effort into a certain area of your business and how you do that. So that was another assessment. I can't quite remember the last one, but again, it feels like a nerve-wracking situation, but it really isn't. It was such a friendly environment, and there was grads there on the day. So if you had any questions that were looming up until then, you could ask them there and then. So I definitely make the most of asking questions about it.
Great, thanks for that, Kat. And Liam, I'm not sure whether you have anything to add to that. I know some people are asking for tips, and Kat, you've just given some great ones in terms of not being nervous, just taking time with it and things like that. But Liam, do you have anything to add, sort of on reflection?
I think I was just looking. Loads of people are putting questions in, so I'll try and answer a couple of them. What's on there? Would you say Royal Mail supports progression of their graduates, Nina? I'd say yes. If you want to progress and you want to develop, you need to make your plans yourself. I wouldn't say it's as structured or micromanaged as what I've heard some other graduate programs are like, but I like that. I like that you can define make your own personal development plan. So an answer, yes, I'd say they do. Would you automatically get offered a job after completing the graduate program? No, but you're supported into something called offboarding. I don't know if you want to answer that one, Sarah, or am I all right to carry on?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely fine. Yeah.
Am I breaking up yet? No. Yeah. So there's something called offboarding, where you've been in the program for 18 months, and then in the 6-month period, you can apply for open positions. Now you have to interview for those positions, but you're coached to a point where you're in the best possible place to apply for that job.
Great.
And then the last one I'll answer. Do you have any tips for the application process? I failed with my last application and was told I can't apply for another 6 months. It's now been nearly a year. Can I apply now? Do you think I failed because of competitiveness? So I don't know if you'd be able to
everyone. Can you guys all hear okay? It may be my internet or it may be a general. I think everyone just disappeared. I was like, what happened?
Yeah, I got kicked out then.
Oh no. Are we all okay? I think you were just, I think Liam, you were in the middle of just answering someone's question about reapplying.
Yeah, I just say take the feedback that you got, and don't be too disheartened. It wouldn't have been anything personal. Sometimes it's on a knife edge, the decision of who's going to get it. So yeah, keep going.
Thanks for that, Liam. And I guess so, coming back to you both and your experience on the programme, can you just give a little bit more of a flavour of your role, your rotations today, sort of what you get involved in day to day, and maybe what's been most valuable to you so far? So Kat, if I come to you.
Yeah, so I started my first placement in customs clearance. So that's dealing with the specific compliance of actually clearing a parcel, importing a parcel in and clearing it. This was very new to me. It was a lot of information to take on board. I've never looked into anything like that before, but it was challenging, and I like a challenge. And it's not everyone's cup of tea, international and compliance. And when I got asked during catch-ups how it's all going, not everyone likes international, but I really grew into the role and grew into love learning about international. So I was given projects, leading teams in terms of ensuring but the main thing is that you're supported. As well as being a graduate, it's a good level of so with other projects I've been involved in was an export project, so looking into our fastest international service, so almost the next day service to the likes of the USA. So looking into this, there were some areas that needed looking into that were dropping in performance, so I was put onto this project recently. I started looking at it from a day-to-day perspective, so I go into the depots, go into the international hub, look at how it would run, and then go back and then pull some data together. And don't be afraid if you're not data savvy at all, you've still got that support from other departments like IT, finance that can give you that support. So don't be afraid if it's not your area of expertise. But yeah, I'd say that the project I've been involved in and current placements have been a mixture, which is really good, and I've really enjoyed. So it's been a mixture of both import and export projects. Thing of the graduate scheme so far is everyone helps everyone on projects. You ask for help and they will help you. If no question's a silly question, especially when you're on a project. So the value of that is networking as well.
Great, thanks, Kat. And then coming over to you, Liam, because obviously you're currently in operational efficiency, which I know you touched on before. But what are the sorts of things that you've been doing whilst on programme, and what's been the most valuable part?
Yeah, so I started. My first project was getting into depots, delivery depots, and watching how the team ran an improvement project. So if a depot is underperforming, there's certain key measures that we look at and we try and improve them. So that's a mixture of using technology tools, working with HR and seeing if there's any kind of rooted in issues within the depot or the depot culture. I can see this. I think there's a second question about culture in Royal Mail, but I'll come on to that. Then another project I've worked on has been working with the post office. So a lot of people think we're under the same umbrella, but we're not. But post office is one of our biggest customers in Parcelforce, We complete collections there every day, up to 17,000 locations. So my second rotation involved working directly with the post office, which was good. Hadn't really had much commercial interaction. And then going into my third placement, I'll be getting some frontline management experience. That's a gap on my CV, and all to run with the development, personal development. I've decided that would be the best place for me to go for my last 6-month placement. So yeah, I think there's a second question on personal experience of how it is working at Royal Mails in terms of culture. Within my team, I'd say we've got strong bonds. There's no micromanagement, which is really important for me. I know people work differently, but for me, if I was being micromanaged, I couldn't work at that company. And a bit about what Kat said as well. People really going out the way to help each other, and then that's expected to be reciprocated as well. I hope that answers your question.
Great, thanks, Liam. And we did also have a question from Tom, I think, that said, what is the most challenging part of the graduate programme? Has there been anything that you found hard whilst on programme, and maybe how you've overcome it if you have, or how maybe you're working through it at the moment? Kat, if I come back to you first.
Yeah, I think in terms of challenging, every day is challenging because it's such a new environment. But again, I think the biggest outcome of that challenge is just asking questions. And again, like I said, no question's a silly question, especially when you're a grad, because they know you're there to learn and you're eager to learn. That's why you've joined. I know it's a bit of a vague answer, because I wouldn't say there's been a challenging area, because I've always felt supported when I've come across a challenge, but I've always gone to a person to ask, either can they help me, or who do I go to ask? There's always someone out there that can help you, because it's such a large business. There's so many different departments that can help you. So that's kind of my response on that. It's a bit open, a bit vague, but hopefully it's a bit of advice.
No, that's great. Thanks, Kat. And then again, back to you, Liam, same question, has there been anything that you found particularly challenging?
Yeah, so with working on improvement projects, and being so new to the business, sometimes you're working with managers who've been there 20, 25, even 30 years. So there's almost a few blockers in the way of, they see someone who's been in the business 2 minutes coming in and providing answers to how they can improve things. And I'm not saying that that's in a horrible way. It's just kind of it's human nature to question the validity of someone new. So I think that was a development point for me, of building the relationship with those people and convincing them to be on my side, rather than meeting that obstruction with more obstruction, or seeing it as an aggression kind of thing, of being like, okay, here's a challenge, I'm going to persuade you to my point of thinking. And again, as Kat said, you can ask people about that. You can ask your managers about that. Say, look, I had a really hard time with so-and-so when I'm trying to promote this new idea, and I've got loads of tips off people. So yeah, I'd say don't take a no personally, or don't take resistance personally. Work on your sales skills. You're selling an idea. Yeah, that's one difficult thing that I've had.
Great, thanks very much, Liam. And I am going to come and ask you both about what will be next after the graduate programme and some of your aspirations in a minute. But we have had a question from Nina that says, as a graduate, can you apply for any job, or do you have to join the graduate programme? No, you can apply for any job. What are the benefits of doing the graduate scheme over applying for the job? So whilst you are on the graduate scheme, Kat and Liam will be able to go into this in more detail, but we do offer some extra development over and above what you'd sort of come in. And obviously we have something called the Academy, which you can do lots of online learning. We've got a central academy now in a physical location, which offers things like building personal brand, working on your sort of leadership and management skills. However, we also offer professional qualifications or an apprenticeship alongside that. So Liam and Kat are both undertaking the level 5 improvement specialist. So if we could just talk about that for a second, I guess, and your experiences with that. So, you know, what it is that you're learning on the improvement specialist and how it helps you in your role, how you're using it in your role. Kat, if I come to you first.
Yeah, just going back on the question in terms of benefits of doing a grad scheme as well, is I think it's a really good opportunity to open doors, like I said before. So you might be really interested and really keen to join a certain role, but in terms of the grad scheme, it allows you to go to different areas of the business and explore what you might enjoy. Because then when you come to the end of the grad scheme, you can then almost decide which area you want to go in if there's a position available. So that's kind of a bit of advice there. Instead of shutting doors too soon, definitely keep them open. If you do want to apply for a role straight away, obviously that's absolutely fine and that's down to you. But I definitely say joining the grad scheme is probably the best decision I made instead of straight into a role. And yeah, going on to the development side of things of the grad role, you can do qualifications. So as Sarah said, we're doing a level 5 in improvement specialist. So this is Lean and Six Sigma. Some of you might have touched on it in your degrees. So this is something we'll be using day to day. So it's an 18-month course that we're doing, and it's a mixture of examination and professional discussion, where you learn and develop skills within your actual current role. So you use your Lean and Six Sigma skills to improve areas of the business or a project, and you use that as evidence in your apprenticeship. But all apprenticeships are different, as you know. There might not be exams, but the one we're doing, we do. And Royal Mail Group do support us in that. They give us time to complete the apprenticeship, certain amount of time per week, as well as obviously you do have to dedicate some personal time, but it depends on how you learn and how you work in terms of managing your time. So that's really good. And as well as another development point is I've actually done a mental health first aid course as well, which Royal Mail have funded, which is really good because it offers opportunities to be open and available for people inside the business just to come talk to you, because you have that qualification to support people and guide them in areas that they might not know where to go or to turn to, or if they just want to let something off their chest, you can guide them into the right areas. So it's not just professional qualifications, it's other areas like first aid, mental health first aid as well, which is really good.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kat. That's a great overview. And I guess, Liam, coming to you, is there any other benefits that you found from being on the graduate programme, whether that be through the apprenticeship, development or otherwise?
Yeah, I'd say you've got a bit more freedom when you're on a graduate scheme, and there's almost a safety net there for you to try ideas out. So say you go for a full role, which is in the structure, you'll be performance managed against targets immediately. Whereas in the graduate scheme, you set your own targets alongside your manager, and they're not loose, but there's an understanding there that this might be your first experience in a professional environment. So you do have that kind of safety net. And with that, you can explore new ideas. And sometimes, so in my experience, I managed a project in an area that no one had really been looking at. No one in a structured role had the time to look at it. Me not being in a structured role, I had the time. That ended up being one of the best things that I've done so far. So yeah, in answer to your question, I would recommend going on the graduate scheme if it's your first professional experience.
Great, thanks very much, Liam. So then wrapping up on this part of the presentation, then just asking you about your aspirations. You know, what are your hopes as you come towards the end of your graduate scheme after your next placement? What are you looking for in terms of your next steps, whether it be in the business, in a particular role, maybe development or something else? Kat, if I come to you first.
Yeah, so this is always a tricky question. It's one of those questions you get in an interview. Where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years? Things change really quickly. So I'd say I definitely would like to stay within Royal Mail Group, because the support, the backing and everything is really great, especially with the people you work with as well. You really build a relationship within the teams you work in and the people you work with. So I see myself staying within international, hopefully the more commercial side more than the product side, because I've touched on both product and commercial side. So I think that's changed during my graduate scheme. So initially I wanted to stay within more product, but as I've experienced more areas of the business, I found myself enjoying more of the commercial side. And I think that's key as well when you decide where you want to sit yourself at the end, is where did you enjoy the most? Because I think work's also about enjoyment. If you don't enjoy work, you don't want to wake up on a Monday morning and go, I've got work today. You want to go in keen to get stuck into your emails and calls and challenges and projects. So I see myself staying within international. It's a big aspect of the business. It's very popular at the moment, especially because of Brexit, that lovely word. But yeah, I say staying with international under Royal Mail Group.
Great, thanks, Kat. And how about yourself, Liam?
Yeah, so we can start applying for full-time roles from March. So I'll be definitely looking in Parcelforce, hopefully in the operational efficiency team. If not, I could branch out into project management. I know there's a few roles that pop up quite often in project management. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to see what's available come March. I can see Ahmed's put a question there. Do you have social events for team bonding? Yeah, I'd say on both teams. I know, Kat, you're the same, aren't you? The first week I joined my team, they made a point of putting a social event in. I think ours was bowling and going for a drink and going for some food and stuff. And that really made me feel welcome, to be honest, the fact they'd set that up because I was new to the team. In terms of graduate team bonding, because it was just following COVID, we had a few sticking points, but we're trying to get that resolved now, and we've got a few more events in the pipeline.
Great, thanks very much, Liam. I can see a couple more questions coming through. I'm just going to pause them there a second just to finish the last couple of slides of the presentation, and then we'll come back and the three of us will be available for Q&A at the end. So it's like a 2-minute warning. I'm going to finish the slides, so if you've got any questions, keep popping them in and we'll come back to them in a second. But thank you, Kat and Liam, for taking us through your experience there and answering some of the questions. I'm hopeful that it's been really helpful to everyone today. So on to the last couple of final slides. So this is just a really nice visual of some of the support, and again some of the ones that Kat and Liam have touched on and I've touched on earlier in the presentation. Things like mentoring and coaching support. We've got facilities for mental health and wellbeing support, including our Feeling First Class service. We also do charity partnerships, so we're currently having an employee vote for who is our next big charity partner for the next couple of years as well. So there's lots to get involved with as an employee. We've got employee and apprentice networks, including the graduate network, the youth board, as I touched on earlier. And obviously we've got lots going on in terms of innovation and transformation in the business at the minute. So what are next steps? If you are interested in joining our next graduate programme, you can visit our early careers page where vacancies will be going live soon. So there is the QR code there. I will just quickly repost the link in the chat box for you all as well. There should be a red button that says create an alert on our early careers page. You'll be able to tick graduates and pop your email in so that you'll be alerted when vacancies go live. However, you can also email us at early.careers@royalmail.com. That will be picked up by me or my colleagues in the early careers team. So in the first instance, if you've got any more questions that we don't answer today or that come up later down the line, please do get in touch there. But if you also want to be added to our mailing list and be notified directly when vacancies go live, again, pop us an email and we'll make sure that you're added to that. So again, I can see a couple of questions that have come through. So I think that there's one around, do you go into the office every day or is some of it remote? So post-COVID, as a business, we've moved to more blended learning. Obviously, if you work in our operation and you're a postie delivering, that's a little bit different. But particularly for lots of our graduate and early careers, we are doing more of a blended approach. I don't know, Kat and Liam, whether you can talk about what you do specifically in your teams. Liam, are you remote at the moment? Do you go into your local office? Do you travel?
So our team's really quite flexible. So say today I'm working from home. Tomorrow I'll be traveling to Nottingham and working there for 2 days. And then Thursday, Friday, both me and Kat will be in Milton Keynes head office. So I wouldn't say it's all working from home, far from it. But as well, there's no one checking that you're going into an office every day. As Sarah said, because post-COVID, I think people know you can still get work done at home.
Yeah, absolutely. We as an organisation are very connected. We use Microsoft Teams for virtual meetings. We also have what we call an internal workplace, which is a bit like a Facebook, but you find that you're in lots of different groups on there. So you'll have we have a HR one where we can update people on what we're doing, but we also have a local team one as well. So if we're out at events and things like that, or we've had a really good meeting, we'll post on there and keep each other up to date as well. We'll have often team catch-ups and things like that, but there is the option to go in the office more or less dependent upon how comfortable you are with it and what your team do as well. Thanks for that, Liam. I think I also saw a couple of questions around student visas and particular sort of working arrangements and stuff like that, and whether you can apply. Apologies, I've missed it. I'm looking for it in the chat box. If you've got any sort of eligibility criteria that you want to check, please do email us again. I'll just go back to the previous slide at early.careers@royalmail.com. To be eligible, you will need to have a visa that at least extends over the graduate programme. But again, I can check with our recruitment team if there's any sort of specific situations that you want to check with us too. And I think we might have answered all the questions, Eloise. Please do shout if we've missed any.
Yeah, no, that was amazing. Really comprehensive question answering. I don't think I've ever seen all of the questions answered in such an efficient way. So thank you so much for that. I think the only one that I was going to mention was, did you want to talk a little bit about sustainability, or was that kind of already covered in the list that you were talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I've just seen it myself. When did you start putting your sustainability plans into action? So we've been working towards things like net zero, getting more electrical vehicles on the roads for a long time. I'm not going to quote an exact date because I don't know. It's not part of my remit. However, I do know that it's been a long time in planning for Royal Mail. We have sort of accelerated that agenda post-COVID. Obviously, we have less people going into offices. We're working from home. We're looking at how we can use technology more. But we also have things internally. So it's not just what we're doing to sort of reduce our carbon footprint as a business to our customer, but also what we're doing internally as well. So for many of our managers, we have a car scheme where you can get a company car at a reduced rate. That now has to be an electric vehicle. So again, what we're trying to do externally, we're also trying to do internally as well. I wanted to flick back, but I'm not sure whether it's going to go back quick enough to give you an overview. But it did say that we're trying to get to net zero by 2040. Which I think is about 10 years earlier than most of our competitors. There we go, I've gone over it. Yeah, 10 years earlier than some of our competitors as well. And we've also got ambitions to move more mail by rail rather than by flight as well. So that's sort of in the early scenarios, but there's lots and lots of things that we're doing as an organisation to make sure that we are, like I say, reducing our footprint, being more environmentally conscious, not just externally, not just to flash it and say, hey, look, we're doing all this really great work. But again, what we can do in our teams and internally to make sure that we're supporting our employees as well to make those actions in their daily lives. So hopefully that gives you a bit of a flavour of that. If you are interested in what we're doing on the sustainability agenda, you can go to the Royal Mail Group website as well. If you just type in Royal Mail Group sustainability, you'll be able to see the reports, the things like that, and it will go into more detail about what we're doing on a company-wide basis to action that as well.
I think you're on mute.
I've done that so many times before. So yeah, I was just saying that's really helpful. Thank you. And also, I know you said there are specific requirements of the scheme already, but a couple of people asking, as a fresher, could I apply? Or 5 years out of university, could I apply? So I wonder if you could just recap like where people need to be for this.
Yeah, absolutely. So once you've finished your scheme, or if you're in your final year of a graduate programme, we really recommend that you keep an eye out to apply. You will have obviously needed to finish your undergraduate scheme or postgraduate scheme by the time that you join us, likely as a September sort of start date. We do ask that you have sort of limited work experience, so maybe that this would be your proper first work experience, or maybe you've maybe took a year out after uni and had a job, but we really want to make sure that you're going to get the most out of this program, and that is through developing you in sort of your, like I say, your first work experience. Again, I think Liam, you touched on earlier that you had a gap in your CV of sort of first line management role, and that's what you've looked to do your placement, and that's the sort of thing we want to do, is to be able to help you really start to work into all of those different areas, have those professional experiences, line managing, working on projects and things like that, so that we can accelerate you through really.
And final question from Tom, can graduates do an apprenticeship? So would those two things ever overlap, or would it just be one or the other?
Yeah, absolutely. So with our last cohort that Liam and Kat came into, we offered all graduates an apprenticeship. So we had a couple of different options. Liam and Kat did the level 5 improvement specialist because that's what lent itself best to their role. We also have some of our operations managers, graduates, do the level 5 future leaders as well. So that's looking at leadership and management, project management, working in the operation and managing that on a day-to-day basis. Again, working towards a PG DIP, a PG diploma, and an apprenticeship certificate as well. But we're really flexible with the development we offer graduates, because we want to make sure that you're getting the most out of the scheme before you off board as well. So I think it will stay that way in the future. Again, it may change in terms of what is offered, but we've very much been making sure that you can make all of the sort of get all of the development out of the scheme as possible. For some of our other programs like HR, obviously we have all of our graduates undertake the level 5 apprenticeship alongside doing their CIPD certificate as well. So again, depends on the area, but there'll always be something on offer for you to do in terms of formal development outside of your graduate placement as well.
I think that's great, and we often get questions about, you know, what kind of qualifications can you do within a graduate scheme. So I think that's really, really helpful for people to know. All right, get any final questions in if you have them. Otherwise, I wondered if you have any final words of wisdom that you want to leave the students with, or any final tips, last little bits of advice that you want to leave us with.
Kat, Liam, I guess I'll pass on to you, Liam, if you want to start. Is there any top tips from you of your graduate placement?
Words of wisdom might be a stretch, but maybe a bit of advice. Just apply for as much as you can, and just take it as it comes. If you get rejected, don't take it personally. Learn from it. Keep going. Tenacity is the thing which got me a graduate scheme. That's what I can say. Thanks.
And Kat, anything from you?
Yeah, just echoing what Liam says. Really, don't take anything personally. Graduate schemes are really difficult to get onto, so take it as a challenge, and again, if you get rejected, don't take that as a knock. Just keep applying, and knock those nerves out the way, and if you do have any questions that you want to ask from a direct graduate point of view, I'm happy for you to connect with me on LinkedIn as well, if there's any other questions that you think of. But yeah, that's it with me.
Great, thank you. And I've just popped the slide up again for the QR code straight to our Early Careers website, or like I say, early.careers@royalmail.com for any questions that we've not answered today. If anything crops up, or if you want to be notified when our vacancies go live for next year, please do get in touch. And thank you very much for listening to us today.
Oh, thank you so much. A really insightful presentation, loads of tips and stuff in there as well. Remember that it will be recorded, so you can come back to it and revisit all of these tips and words of wisdom again if you want to. And make sure you have the QR code or the link that's in the chat just before we close, because that will disappear in a moment. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming. Yeah, really great, insightful presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, there are many more events going on this week, so check back and see what you're interested in. And other than that, have a wonderful week. Thank you so much again for your presentation, and yeah, see you all soon. Bye.
Thanks very much.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Bye.